I think at the end of the day, every student is wanting to graduate with a job lined up, but to be able to get yourself ready to be a job-ready candidate is something that the Work Integrated Learning Program really focuses on.
Work Integrated Learning Program is essentially available for students in the business school to try out different things, to explore some of the opportunities available in the professional world.
So Work Integrated Learning is study tours, internships, placements, competitions. It's such a diverse range of things that you can do.
The program I participated in was an industry placement program, and I did my placement at Macquarie as an intern in the CAF Resources team. What that looked like for me was 3 days a week of work from weeks 3 to 13, which involved things such as research tasks, preparing reports and presentations, and running some meetings and just preparing some basic materials for meetings as well. I think from that placement I learned a lot about how to deal with difficult personalities, how to deal with personalities that were really accommodating, and that's something that's a very, very important life skill and fundamental to the workplace as well, in order to ensure that you as a member facilitate a great team environment but also know how to work with people and bring the best out of them too.
My experience with Work Integrated Learning was done through an interdisciplinary project with Westpac, and we explored the impact of AI on banking. Westpac would come in and they would give us an overview of what they wanted us to do. They would say, could you apply this technology in a number of different areas to solve these problems? And you could choose which sector you wanted to work with, whether it's internal or for social impact or for their larger consumer market. And our team chose to do a social impact, focusing on reducing the number of people falling into financial hardship using AI.
Stakeholder management and engagement is critically important. It's no matter what industry you work in, what business you work in, the ability to manage your stakeholders' needs and expectations is critical. So, and this unit really prepares you for that.
So last semester I had a chance to take IBUS 6011, so that is New Business Opportunities and Startups, which was basically like my first learning by doing course in the Master of Commerce program. And actually prior coming to Sydney, I had a few years of working experience in Jakarta. However, I feel like this time around it's a bit different because you get exposure with like people of so many backgrounds, working on making projects together, and just reflecting on my experience so far in this degree. It was not the easiest course, however, I find it the most rewarding. So the class was very different than everything else that I had taken in this degree. No textbook and sometimes like no regular meetings. However, a lot of the exciting things in that class happened outside the class time. So it was actually going to the streets, asking for people about what they think about the idea, also identifying early adopters, and just figuring out like pivot things along the way, and being able to meet and have mentored by some of the early entrepreneurs.
So my experience with Work Integrated Learning, I went on a study tour for 2 weeks with the University of Sydney Business School to China.
We went to Shanghai, Nanjing and Suzhou where we stayed most of our time.
Within each of the cities we went out and were able to visit different companies such as Huawei, Albright Law Firms, Ernst & Young. There were quite a diverse group of companies that we visited, aligning to each of the different disciplines. So for example, if you're studying marketing or finance or accounting, there was always something relevant to each of the different industry visits.
Definitely a key takeaway skill that I got from this trip was seeing how a business operates in an international setting and realizing that, not every business operates like it does in Australia.
During the tour, there was a lot of self-development, especially with my professional identity. I sort of realized what I wanted to do when I finished uni.
I think there are so many subjects that give you technical knowledge at university, but there are not very many that you're actually going to learn about you as an individual and how you fit in a professional environment. And that's why I would recommend doing Work Integrated Learning programs, is when you're applying for graduate jobs or when you're applying for internships, you want to be able to use examples of things you've done to develop professional skills that are going to set you apart from everyone else who has the same degree. And that's the advantage that Work Integrated Learning has.